Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Extreme Championship. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm a rat-faced gerbil smuggler.
What about me? What about Shane Vin?
Welcome to episode 253, The Buffalo Invasion.
Yup.
The Buffalo are coming. The Buffalo are coming.
Yeah, they didn't write a tagline. Neither did we.
We're an ECW, guys. They don't do taglines.
No.
They barely do tags.
But we are not in Philadelphia.
We are not in Philadelphia.
Nope.
We're actually in Buffalo, New York.
It's not just a clever play on words.
No.
For the only Buffalo Invasion ever produced by ECW, it would take place on May 17th, 1997 from the Burt Flickinger Center, with an attendance of 1,697 people.
It looks like a nice high school basketball spot. But like a nice one. Like a really nice one.
Like really nice.
Yeah, I like the way the show looks.
I do too.
Yeah, I think it looks great. Granted, the quality of the video isn't the greatest, but just as far as the actual
the arena
setup, yeah. I think it looks really good. It feels kind of old school. And it looks bigger than it probably actually is.
Yeah, there's a section of the show where I had to be reminded that we weren't at ECW anymore. Or at ECW. At
2900 Arena.
Yeah. Just because I kept looking at it and was like, where the hell in the arena is... Oh, that's right. We're in Buffalo.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, they have that wonderful entrances right in the middle of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good look. I think that this is maybe the first time, because I know... At some point, it becomes pretty regular that ECW has the cop lights when people come out. Like the... Yeah. And, I know this is audio format, but you guys get what I'm saying.
The old Steiner... I say Steiner. The big Papa Pump.
Yeah.
Red lights spinning.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Car chase jams. But
I was like, you can't see me. I'm going to spin my fingers in the air.
No, John Cena's out here.
No. I mean, podcasts need to stop being video. What the hell are people doing? It's stupid.
Yeah, you can't watch that in your car while you're driving.
Exactly. What are you doing watching podcasts at home? That was a nice touch as well, and it's right in the middle, and it's like, have they been using that at home, the 2900 Arena, the ECW Arena, and I just didn't notice because the way where it is, or is this the first time? Yeah, it's like in the corner. It's pretty far back.
It's the corner.
So I just assumed the lights knew. It looks nice though.
But we are in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, we are.
So Shane, did you do what you do?
He tried.
Did I ever? Yes. We are in ECW, out of Philly, in New York. So I was going to try and do something a little special. I did what I do as far as getting on the internet and looking to see what the hell do they like in New York. In Buffalo.
Upstate.
I didn't want to do the stereotypical, let's just get buffalo wings. And I'm kind of wishing I would have. My initial plan, because we all know that when I have these initial plans that get canceled last second and I have to scramble, it ends up not usually the greatest thing. And
it's always at least interesting.
Yes, it's interesting. In this case, it's kind of sad.
Sometimes it's great.
Yeah, we've had a couple of great ones, but we've had a couple of real stankers, and I'm going to put this one closer to the stanker level because it's not what I originally wanted, and it's not as good as what I originally wanted.
It's not the best version of what the thing
But
is.
I've also said I'm not going to say the name of the place because maybe they just had a bad day.
Yeah.
But if they didn't have a bad day, I don't want to recommend them to people anyways. So I will say that originally we were going to go to the place we've been to a few times, Yokozuna Sushi, because They have a specific dish there, which is popular in the upstate New York area, which is the pork belly steam buns. The one at Yokozuna is great. It's nicely seared. It has a great sauce to it. It comes with some pickled veggies that are plentiful, and you get like a lot of everything in each bite. And the first time I had them, I had to order another round because the first ones I got were free because it was during their opening and they were so good. I asked if I could pay for an actual order of them because I wanted more.
Is the Yoko on Broadway?
It's Chisholm Creek.
Okay.
Over there.
Okay, so it's Newark.
Western and Memorial.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still open. There was a Yokozuna on like Broadway in Edmond. I think it was called Yokozuna. So. My friend worked at the sushi spot there years ago, and it was also a solid place.
But these ones, they sounded appetizing in their description.
Always.
They have a panko breading, and they're fried as opposed to the seared ones that you get from Yokozuna.
The thing is you can't fry pork belly. No, it never works.
You shouldn't. I mean, yeah, state fair, deep fried bacon, sure, but
that's different.
Yeah, this is pork belly, and it's
a very specific thing. It's like all it does is take time. It takes time to do it right.
Yeah, I will post a picture of it so people can see exactly how ugly they are in comparison to what we wanted.
It's like you can't crap out like smoked barbecue. You can't crap out a pork belly. Huh. It's all about time.
This they're definitely overcooked as far as the frying goes, or they were fried in old oil, so they just have that extra dark color to them.
They also deep fried it. If they're gonna fry a pork belly, you gotta do a light panko in like a pan with oil.
Yeah,
so you can keep
fry.
You can't just throw it in the fryer.
Like,
which is what
they could have easily just substituted fried green tomatoes on these, and they probably would have been great. But no,
fried green tomato, it would have been more moist.
Yes. The sauce that they put on here is like a hoisin sauce, it looks like, and it's very lacking. It's just a little...
It tastes fine.
A tiny little schmear.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be the pickled veggies on there, and it looks like they got a bag of coleslaw and pulled out some carrots from it.
But the carrots look like they were shaved so like angel hair, pasta thin, which is weird. I've never seen carrots that thin, even in like a pickled Asian dish.
Yep. Just very, very sad, very lackluster, very not what I was hoping for.
It was nourishing and not difficult to eat, but not worthy of saying the restaurant's name.
Yes, I'm not going to say the restaurant's name. I will do my bite on the microphone just because I'm guessing that with as cooked as they are, they will at least make a
they will definitely make a crunch.
Yeah. It's not the worst pork belly I've had.
Here goes name deleted.
Redacted.
Pork belly steam bun.
Redacted.
Yeah. I don't even want to finish that bite.
Oh, no. Ew. Wasn't that bad. I ate both mine.
I'm not a fan of it at all.
I guess
it's because I really
wanted
the Yokozuna ones, and these ones, no.
I mean, all I had today was a granola bar and some oatmeal.
All I
never know what Shane's bringing.
Was the first bite of this other one, and no. Don't like it. Don't want it. Never again.
Not from there. Next time.
No name, place. You are never getting my business again.
I mean, it says something if I've lived down the street from this spot for a decade and I've never gone there or heard anybody talk about it. But I can draw their logo for you.
Yep. Close and fast is not always the best option.
It tastes like apathy. It's like, oh, they don't care. They obviously don't care.
So why should we?
Exactly.
But hey, we're not.
But
we're
I
not
care enough not to say your name because
we'll
I don't even want to utter it. I'll have to look it up to remember it.
We're here to shit on wrestling, not on restaurants.
Exactly.
Well, let's see if we're going to shit on this movie that came out about around the same time.
Oh, not me, brother.
The Fifth Element would hit theaters the week before.
Shane just recently blew my mind.
Yes, while I have seen parts of The Fifth Element, I have never sat and watched the entire thing from start to finish. I mean, when you work at Blockbuster at the time that it's released on video, it's on your trailer tapes time and time again, even though I had access to it to where I could rent it for free and take it home and watch it as many times as I wanted to, I didn't.
Yep.
I'll have to check it out soon, just so I can finally say I've seen it and I know a little bit more than Chris Tucker has a wicked blonde wig in it.
Yeah. The first Ruby Rose. The first time I saw this movie was in 5th grade. There was a kid I was friends with for a short amount of time. We didn't get in a fight or anything, but we didn't create a long, when you're in 5th grade and I had just recently moved here, it's like, oh, you hang out with a couple of different kids and then you don't always create a lasting relationship. But over his house, he lived on, the other side of the neighborhood, and we rented 2 movies, and one of them was The Fifth Element, and the other one was the first X-Files movie.
I thought you were going to say The First Element.
Water. We rented David Attenborough's ocean documentary, but no, it was the X-Files movie. But we put on The Fifth Element and we were just slapping our knee, couldn't believe what we saw. It was so funny and colorful, and I was like, oh, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. And then for probably a year, when you're in 5th grade, seems like a much longer time, but at least for a year or 2, this was like my favorite movie. It was on television all the time. I think that I taped it off of television, eventually bought a copy. I think I've owned at least 3 copies of this movie in my life. If it was on TV on HBO or something like that, and I'd walk in and my dad was watching it because he was flipping channels. My sister, if she was flipping channels, would stop on it. Maybe even my mother did. But this is kind of a beginning of the first thing that I saw that ended up being the genesis and spiderweb of a lot of things that I love, even though I didn't know it at the time, with science fiction, which I was into, but comic books is a lot of this is based off of Mobius artwork and stuff, and how he worked on Alien, a movie that I hadn't seen at that point because I got into horror movies, and I was later to the rated R thing because my mom was not super overbearing. I could watch The Simpsons and stuff, but yeah, and it's this is kind of the ancient sea scroll of things that I would get into later in my life, as far as other science fiction and comic book and art style stuff goes. But yeah, I love this movie. I've seen it a million times. Saw it with Matt.
Yeah, we actually went and saw the re-release in the theater a few years ago. And it was so much fun to see on the big screen.
Yeah, because I assume you hadn't seen it in the theater?
Actually, I think I did go see it in the theater back in the day. Because I would have been 16.
Did it not connect with you as much, or you just saw it and were like, oh, that's fun? Because when I saw this, it blew my mind, and I was like, oh, greatest thing ever. Because it's funny, it's stupid, it's perfect for the mind of a 5th grader. Because Luc Besson is kind of an idiot.
It is a very fun movie. I'm never going to say that it's a 10 out of 10 masterpiece.
I don't even know if it's a good movie, but I love it.
Yeah, that's the perfect perfect argument for it. Because,
this is popcorn movie for fucking children but it does have adult themes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you get older and you're like, oh, some of these adult themes are upsetting, but you don't realize that when you're in 5th grade. I didn't realize that Luc Besson kind of into children until I was older.
Is that the director?
Yeah, director, writer.
He also made the Leon the Professional.
Okay.
The lead sexy character of this movie basically has the mind of a child. It's kind of a bit of a theme in some of his work.
Is that Mila Jovovich?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know it's her, Bruce Willis,
Gary Oldman plays the bad guy.
Gary Oldman, incredible.
He's the best. He's the best part of the movie. He chews the scenery so delightfully.
Yeah. And this isn't even this is a sci-fi comedy. This is a comedy just as much as it is a sci-fi. Yeah. I think there's a good. Is it Luke Perry at the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Good Luke Perry cameo. What a great opening. Great cold open in this movie.
I would put this in Bruce Willis's top 5.
You can see that.
I think that says more about Bruce Willis's filmography.
Yes.
Because we haven't shat on the movie.
No.
But
I love it. dearly.
We're definitely saying that it's not the best movie out there.
I think it's also like a time period thing where like Matt and I were like, Matt's a little older than me, but like the right age to enjoy this thing. But like people that are younger than us that I've listened to that talk about film and whatnot, they didn't see this movie and they heard about people loving this movie and they watch it and they just shit all over it. And it's, I feel like I'm like, you just had to be there, man. It's like you can poke a million holes in it, but like I think that it is a blast, and I can't separate myself from it enough to like truly turn on the thing, nor would I want to, because I think it is magically fun.
And so he just recently did the Valerian and the City of Thousand Planets,
which I did not like, but I owe a rewatch.
And it was supposed to be, I feel like, it's not a sequel by any means, but he was going for
the spiritual
sequel of it. And that movie is trash.
I need to rewatch it, but I also feel the same way, Matt, based on my one viewing. It is based off of a famous French comic, which Mobius is a famous French artist. He didn't write Valerian, and he didn't write Fifth Element, but he did a lot of design work. Yeah. You know, he drew up a lot of the costumes and ships and things, and that's why the movie, it's like, granted, they had the budget to make it look like that. It's more trash
because of the story. Like, it's very beautiful still to look at. Like,
it's crazy.
Besson has a wonderful, like, design eye for science fiction worlds.
Yeah, but they are batshit insane with wild tones that, like, a lot of people can't choke down. It's kind of like The Fifth Element is the unicorn, like, milkshake of, you know, pink Starbucks, like, unicorn drink of science fiction.
Ew.
It's just a lot. It's just a lot, and if you're not ready for it, then like it's really going for the whole damn thing, even if you don't know what the thing is.
Well, then it makes sense then, because
for a fifth grader,
I did not try the unicorn
Me
drink
neither.
from Starbucks.
I don't like that in my drinks, but sometimes I want it in my movies. I like this movie so much that I didn't know any better as a kid that licensed video games are always dog shit. And
did you play the video game?
I pre-ordered it for PlayStation, and it took like a year to come out. And it's like the only video game I ever pre-ordered as a child, or even an adult. I think it's the only video game I ever pre-ordered, and like it was so broken, impossible to play. And I kept playing it, trying to get the crazy gun that's in the movie that is so perfect for a video game. It's like this awesome gun that looks like a fucking clamshell that does like 10 different things, and it even shoots a net. Yeah, the game was garbage.
Yeah,
but I would refuse to believe it, so I just kept playing it, unwilling to realize how broken it was, not knowing that video games could be broken. And it's like, it just doesn't work.
Well, enough about steamrolls and Fifth Elements.
You know what the Fifth Element is? Should we spoil it? We won't spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
It's wildly obvious. A reason that a lot of people would probably dislike the movie. But as a kid, I didn't care by the time we got there.
Yes, she is the Fifth Element, right?
No.
Okay. Well, then the mystery is still out there for me.
Let's talk some ECW. Okay. And we go straight to our first match. The Full-Blooded Italians of Little Guido and Tracy Smothers with Tommy Rich versus the Pitbulls of number 1 and number 2.
The Don, Tommy Rich.
And obviously, we didn't see Smothers join the FBI. It was on a show that we couldn't get our hands on.
Last time we saw him, he was Freddie Joe Floyd or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
That is true.
Such a shame.
But actually, the last time we saw him in ECW, he actually faced the Full-Blooded Italians in a match.
Oh, he did? That's right.
So
he's come full-blooded circle.
I mean, yeah. I love Tracy Smothers. I feel like we haven't watched enough of his work considering his career on this show, but I feel like we have spoken very highly of some of the few things that he has done and that we have seen.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's that WCW tag match that I bring up anytime I get the chance.
So Rich takes the mic to tell the crowd to stand up and give the Italians the respect they deserve. Before Guido starts it off with number 1, as the crowd lets everyone know what they want to happen. Fuck 'em up, Pitbulls, fuck 'em up. And Pitbull 1 uses his power early on, shoving little Guido, but a distraction by Tommy allows Guido to gain control with a handful of hair, until number 1 hits a shoulder block and tosses little Guido around the ring, followed by a double team back elbow.
I do love little Guido just kind of taking him down a peg by just grabbing his hair like 5 times in a row. Little Guido, you know, he's got the juice, just not the size.
Yes, he's got the juice. He just has not juiced.
No, I mean he's very fit. It's just like you can't spend money to get taller.
No.
The Pitbulls work the arm, but a thumb to the eye allows Guido to lay in some strikes in a corner, which just pisses Pitbull 1 off, causing little Guido to beg off, only to thumb the eyes again. Guido then charges into a back elbow before number 1 hits a clothesline and a hangman's neck breaker.
Hangman's neck breaker is like the atomic drop, or there's been some years of this show where we like pick a move where it's like, oh, that's the move
Especially
of the year.
in ECW on this show.
In ECW on this show, there's probably like fucking 15 Hangman's neck breakers, and he calls them that, where it's like, I don't know, it's kind of a neck breaker, but like barely different.
It's the Rude Awakening.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, did Rick Rude just tell everybody to do that? As he will be on commentary for parts of the show.
Tracy runs in only to receive a belly-to-belly suplex, a double noggin knocker, followed by Pitbull 2 flying in with a double clothesline, sending the FBI out to the floor to regroup. Now back in the ring, little Guido challenges number 2, only to be thrown into his corner. But Smothers walks away from a tag at first, only to flip into the ring and get into a test of strength with Pitbull 2. And Tracy gets taken down and has his hands stomped on, followed by a leaping shoulder block and a gorilla press slam for a 2 count.
It's weird to see the larger man, Tracy, be the like chicken shit here, because number 1, he's Tracy Smothers, and number 2, Guido is like 8 inches shorter than him and doesn't have the pedigree that Tracy Smothers does in the ring.
Smothers reverses a whip but telegraphs a back body drop,
Don't do it.
allowing number 2 to deliver a powerbomb and make a cover, only for Guido to run in and break it up. And Tracy reverses another whip, sending Pitbull 2 to the ropes, where Rich pulls them down, sending number 2 crashing out to the floor.
Dick.
And Tommy neuters Pitbull 2 on the guardrail, followed by little Guido coming over to attack as well, before rolling number 2 in for Smothers to hit him with right hands. And the FBI teams up for a pair of double back elbows and a double elbow drop, before Guido nails a body slam and a slingshot elbow drop from the apron for a near fall.
Guido's, maybe he is on the juice. He's lifting Pitbulls.
The FBI with more double teams, followed by Tracy hitting a side slam on Pitbull 2. He goes for another one, only for number 2 to cradle Smothers up for a 2 count. But Tracy comes right back with a clothesline.
Tag team specialist right there.
And the FBI hit a double drop kick to send Pitbull 2 out to the apron, where Rich gets some punches in as well. And number 2 begins to fire up, blocking a turnbuckle smash and nailing some right hands to Smothers, but runs into a double boot, only to respond with a double clothesline to the FBI, allowing him to make the crawl for the hot tag. Pitbull 1 with right hands, clotheslines. Number 2 joins in for a double team power slam and whipping the Italians into each other, only for them to do-si-do right into double clotheslines from the Pitbulls.
Fun spot. Come on.
Rich then climbs onto the apron, only to be knocked down by Pitbull 1, while number 2 clotheslines Tracy out of the ring, which allows the Pitbulls to then deliver a super bomb to little Guido for the pin and the win.
Woo!
Very fun tag match. I almost assumed that Tracy Smothers was the, like, what they would call a match agent for this, where he's like, all right, guys, this is how we're going to do it. And everyone's like, sounds great. Because I wouldn't expect this necessarily on an ECW show, and I wouldn't expect this in a typical Pitbull match. This felt old school. I think the most surprising thing is that Tracy Smothers does almost nothing in it.
Agreed. I don't know why, but I kind of like this version of Tommy Rich better than old Wildfire.
I mean, yeah, we didn't see Wildfire really in his...
I don't ever need to see Tommy Rich in the ring ever again.
No.
I mean, he's obviously much older and larger now, but we never saw him as, like, in his heyday.
Had he had this shitty attitude back then, I would have been all for Tommy Rich.
Yeah, but then you would have saw him and been like,
I don't know if...
What a slight man.
If he had that attitude during his younger days before we saw him in WCW, but... mid-90s, early 90s Tommy Rich, whatever it was, that was the Wildfire in WCW, was nothing like this.
I mean, that was still, like,
here.
past his prime, I feel like.
Yeah.
He, like, had his moment, but it was a territory moment, and it didn't last particularly long.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I miss my JT.
Of course, but...
I still hope he comes back for one more appearance, because I thought we got one more appearance out of him, but...
We can't. Guido is stepping up in a big way.
Definitely.
And he feels like... It's funny because before we had JT, and then Guido felt like the tiny dog behind him, like talking a big game, biting at the ankles. And now he's the main guy, and Tracy Smothers, who we all know and love, is afraid to enter the ring. It's weird.
Oh, he got himself a big dumb dog, huh?
Yep. Yeah, he got himself a golden retriever, and what he really needed was a pit bull.
Basset hound, just a boo in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to our second match. Wild Bill Wiles versus Balls Mahoney. While Bill Wiles is a trainee, he actually worked with the ring crew for a long time with ECW and started training. Let him have a few matches here and there.
Good
Trying to get that Mikey Whip rep glow up.
I mean, so it's going to be hard to do.
It's going to be hard to do, yeah.
But yeah, I noticed that Balls Mahoney, I may have said this before, I don't remember. He looks kind of like a younger Mick Foley from a few years ago. He's a little larger, but...
Maybe in the face a little bit.
Yeah, in the face and the gear, and they both have large asses. Mick Foley's got a dumper.
That they do.
So Balls with the shoulder block, but Wiles responds with a arm drag and a drop kick to send Mahoney out to the floor. While Bill follows out with a slingshot pescado, but Balls responds with right hands and tossing Wiles into a guardrail. Now back in the ring, Wild Bill with chops and back elbows before flying off the second rope with a clothesline for a 2 count.
Boring.
And Mahoney ducks a clothesline to hit a big right hand, followed by a spinning heel kick that takes them both out to the floor. And they return to the ring where Balls stomps away on Wiles, delivering some chops and does some flare strutting before charging into a corner, only for Wild Bill to move and cradle up Mahoney for a near fall.
I do love that this crowd, it's like boring. It's like, oh, it's Balls Mahoney. He hasn't been here for that long. And this other guy. And then as soon as the leg lariat that puts Wiley on the floor, and Balls Mahoney does this great thing where he does the leg lariat, holds onto the rope with one hand, lands feet first, like standing on the floor. And they already, it's probably because they're not in Philadelphia. They're in Buffalo, and this crowd just wants to do it, but they see that happen, which is impressive for how large of a man he is. They start an ECW chant. So they go from boring to ECW chant in less than 5 seconds because they're idiots and nothing's changed. If you've been to a wrestling show in 2023 or probably 2024 or maybe 2019...
We get that this is awesome from a clothesline.
Yep, just pointing it out. Just pointing it out. I think that what Balls Mahoney did was impressive.
Yeah.
But they wanted to do what they wanted to do, and they did it. They said ECW.
Wiles with chops in a corner, and he goes for a whip, only to be countered into a short arm clothesline by Balls. While Bill is then nailed with a super kick, followed by Mahoney grabbing a chair to use over the head for the pin and the win.
I like when Balls teases that he's going to grab the ref's ball sack because his name is Balls.
So we go to our third match. Spike Dudley versus Taz. And Rick Rude has joined Joey Styles on commentary for this one.
Yeah, he did.
And the two men fight over a waistlock until the human suplex machine takes Dudley down into an ankle lock, forcing Spike to make the ropes. And back and forth action continues with Taz continually taking Dudley down to the mat with different judo throws until the human suplex machine goes for a pop-up powerbomb, only for Spike to dropkick Taz in midair, sending him to the floor.
I mean, it's fun to see. Taz is now a man alone since the turn at the pay-per-view. He's got nothing to fall back on, and he's getting kicked out of the ring by all 97 pounds of Spike Dudley. Love to see it. It's fun.
Dudley follows out with a top rope plancha before they return to the ring where Spike uses his speed, but he's caught on a leap up and over, with Taz just slamming him down. The human suplex machine then telegraphs a back body drop, only for Dudley to attempt to counter into a backslide. But Taz is too powerful as he flips Spike over to nail a clothesline.
Awesome spot. It's like he doesn't flip him over straight to the mat. He flips him over and then lays him out with the clothesline. And big ups to Spike for the fucking pop-up drop kick.
The human suplex machine continues with a release German suplex. He goes for a back suplex, but Dudley flips out and hits a low blow, followed by multiple pin attempts for 2 counts. Spike then delivers an acid drop for a near fall. He goes for another, but Taz just counters by just throwing Dudley off to the mat.
Yeah, this is the correct use of the word yeet, I believe. He just yeets him across the ring.
I was going to say, this was the correct use of Spike Dudley.
Yeah.
The human suplex machine hits a T-bone Tazplex, but he then charges into a big boot from Spike, allowing him to go for another acid drop, only to begin reversed into a Northern Lights suplex. And the human suplex machine gets taken down with a snapmare and a drop kick to the back of the head, before Dudley attempts a hurricanrana, only to be caught with a Taz mission for the submission and the win.
This is fun stuff. A new, fully baby Taz, working back up the card, and the crowd is still on his side. He's got a fun and capable opponent that he can throw around, but Taz still didn't completely squash him. He still took a couple of lumps. It's a squash match, but Spike Dudley is the guy you want to take a drop kick to the floor from, only to come back and suplex him 3 times.
You know what else was great about this match? There was no fucking whistle.
I know. Bye-bye, Billy. Was there a lady out here for this match?
A lady?
I don't think so.
Like, that walked down with one of them, or just...
No, I just don't know, because I have a quote from Rick Rude early in this match where he says, that woman can't wrestle a lick, but you ought to see her box. I'm trying to remember what that was in reference to. Because it's also...
Are you sure he wasn't talking about Francine?
Yes.
Oh, it was talking about Francine, as, they talk about other things on commentary. And like I was going to say...
he loves to talk about Shane Douglas and Francine. So.
Yes.
Foreshadowing.
And, yeah.
Shadow boxing?
So we're headed to our 4th match. Chris Chetti versus the franchise, Shane Douglas, with Francine for the ECW World Television Championship.
Cut the music.
Is what franchise says to let everyone know that they are very lucky. That most people can't say that they saw a Babe Ruth or a Muhammad Ali. But this day forward, you can tell your grandkids you saw the greatest professional wrestler in the world.
Shane is so good at this. It's such a shame that he's working for the ECW. And it's a shitty thing to say, but he's just kind of got it. Kind of has it.
I'd agree with you.
Shane then turns his attention to Chetti, saying he's not an asshole like the Pitbulls or Rick Rude, before giving the rookie a handshake.
Give him the rub.
And the crowd starts chanting, "Fuck you, franchise." And
she's got herpes.
So Douglas decides to pack it up and head to the back, but returns to have a feeling out process with Chetti to start, until the rookie is able to nail 3 drop kicks that sends Shane back out to the floor.
Loving the rookie love on this show.
Yes.
Back in the ring, the rookie works the arm until he charges into a big boot, allowing Douglas to fire up with a clothesline and a rude awakening.
The Hangman's neckbreaker.
The franchise continues with a pile driver and a rolling neck snap for a 2 count, before applying a head scissors to wear down Chetti.
And I gotta say, I'm kind of digging Shane being the, I don't know, the welcome committee or we'll just say welcome committee for these new guys, because, I mean, him and Spicolli, yeah, they had a good run on Spicolli's, one of his first matches.
And there's that other guy I liked a lot. I can't remember his name now.
Sam Houston.
No, it was around the same time that Louis showed up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to see Shane owning that franchise role, and
it's perfect too because he can heal it up,
the standard,
and do his version of Ric Flair, but he's doing it with guys he doesn't necessarily have to, but
he makes them look like superstars instantly, because
Chetti looks great.
Yeah, he looks like he's
60
been
seconds
into this for a while.
Yeah, triple drop kick, come on. And they're clean ones.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking like Sandman drop kicks, which kind of are similar to watching somebody take a dump.
Shane with a brain buster, and he tries for another, only for the rookie to reverse it into a suplex of his own, followed by a top rope leg drop, which Douglas avoids and delivers a butterfly suplex. The franchise keeps up the attack with a half crab and chokes across the ropes, where Francine gets a cheap shot in as well. And Chetti rolls out and stalks after Francine, so Shane baseball slides out of the ring to send the rookie into a guardrail, followed by a body slam on the hardwood floor. They make their way back in, where Douglas misses a clothesline, allowing the rookie to drop kick the knee and lock on a figure 4. Francine jumps in the ring to break up the hold and slapping Chetti before the ref can get her out onto the apron. When Rick Rude would make his way out, where he looks up Francine's dress before picking her up into a powerbomb position with his face buried in her ass cheeks and carrying her to the back.
It's a pile driver, I think. Tombstone.
It was supposed to be a, like, you usually lift someone up like this.
Yeah, but then she drops down.
It's like a 3/4 powerbomb position, basically.
Yeah. But I thought he would have like let her down, or he would get attacked and she would run off. But he just holds her, eating her.
She got a mustache ride all the way to the back.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. It's so funny.
It's
ECW, brother.
It's almost awkward.
Yeah,
because
but it's funny.
I just kept sitting there like, is this actually happening? What the fuck? Seriously, is this still going? Because it's not face on ass cheek. It's not nose at the top of her ass crack. It's full on face in crack smashed.
Yeah, his nose is in her taint at least.
Yep. It's a rude awakening of a different kind.
Yeah. It's fucking so wild, and so it's like the kind of similar rules to.
I'm gonna say this is why there was only one Buffalo invasion, because there was something that was invaded.
Yeah. And it was Francine's franchise. But it's similar to the, like, in wrestling, rules of, like, 3. Like, okay, the ref didn't see the first time or the second time you grabbed the ropes, but he saw the third one, and now it's over. And in comedy, you say something that is only kind of funny, and then you double down, and it's not funny at all, but then the third time you do it, it might be funny.
Yeah,
and that was like the extended length of him doing this, where it's like shocking, and then you're like, okay, and then he walks all the way to the back, and you're just like beside yourself, like, what the fuck, just crazy.
Got all up in that box.
And the crowd does kind of the same thing. We're like, okay, and then they are like all standing and cheering as he like walks, and the camera and the setup for the show is perfect because the hard cam, the entrance is right in the middle on the other side of the ring. So he just walks back and you can see your legs flailing up in the air like fucking olive oil. But, I don't know that... What was his name? I wanted to call him Brutus.
Who?
From Popeye.
Oh.
Bluto. Yeah, but Bluto probably never got that close to olive oil's vagine.
So the franchise finally escapes the figure 4 and starts whipping Chetti into elbows before going up top. But the rookie kicks his legs out from under him, allowing him to deliver a superplex for the pin. And no, Shane kicks out.
I mean, Chetti looks great. He's so athletic. All the stuff's clean. He's taking big moves correctly. His selling is fucking on point.
Dude's paid as fuck.
His top rope leg drop, I shit my pants when he did it. I loved it.
Chetti continues with several clotheslines for a 2 count, a swinging neck breaker for a near fall. He tries for an O'Connor roll, but Douglas hangs onto the ropes, only to then walk into a thrust kick. The rookie goes out to the apron for a double springboard moonsault.
Come on.
But the franchise moves and nails a belly-to-belly suplex for the pin and the win.
Okay, so that's what that was, a double springboard moonsault. Okay.
Great match. Lots of ring story. Of course, Shane Douglas. The man could write a fucking 300-page novel for every match he has. And he does sometimes before the match starts. And then Shane Douglas has a hungry and very talented opponent. He doesn't get that particularly often here. Most of the hungry and talented guys, a lot of, like, at least more recently, are in his stable.
Yeah.
So
maybe I always forget his damn stable's name too.
Really?
3.
Come on.
My brain automatically wants to go to 3 count. Triple threat.
There you go.
There we are. Okay.
Yeah, much better name than 3 count.
But the people that are in triple threat have changed since the last time we saw them as well.
Really?
Yeah, because remember Brian Lee turned on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's Candido, Shane Douglas, and another
TBD.
person, which I'll leave to the next time we see them.
Okay, well, I guess what I was thinking was that it was Brian Lee. We're not big Brian Lee fans here.
No.
But
It's a much better person.
Yeah. In my head it's
You'll like
the
third person.
In my head it's Lance Storm but that might just be me projecting because Lance Storm's been recently added to the ECW roster.
I'm intrigued. We'll see who it is. Is it? Yeah, we'll see. I was gonna say,
is it Mike Awesome?
Is it old Spicolli?
Might be.
We'll see.
Is it Chetti?
Spicolli would be a good one. Spicoli's a much better fucking Brian Lee than Brian Lee.
And he'd fit in. He's got that bleach blonde Candido look to him.
He can work, and he's a hoss.
So we go to our 5th match. Raven with Chastity and Lupus.
Nose picking dude.
And a mystery partner. Versus Tommy Dreamer with Beulah. And a mystery partner. In a Dream Partner tag match. And we got Rick Rude back on commentary. Because he's done eating the snatch.
I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say he was done with lunch, Matt. You dirty boy.
Made quick work.
While Beulah
Ravished
is
her
in a
good.
neck brace.
Oh, and she's wearing all white to match her neck brace. Incredible look.
And the reason she was in a neck brace is because she had received a Spicolli driver a week earlier.
Yeah. Well, Foreshadowing.
While Raven and Tommy both make their choices for the match.
And who could they be?
I'm so surprised already.
Dreamer selects Terry Funk.
Shocking.
Oh my gosh.
But when Todd Gordon goes to ask Raven, Lupus steps up with a toy lightsaber. Only for Todd to just hit him with the mic to knock him out. For continuing on to ask Raven, in which he chooses Stevie Richards.
I mean, the crowd loves Stevie Richards, but Stevie Richards and Raven have a complicated relationship.
Yeah, Stevie didn't look too enthused.
Yeah, Stevie comes out very puzzled as to why Raven would choose him, with Raven just telling him not to bring his flunkies, and he didn't want to hear any of his dumb Blue World Order chants.
Which fires up the crowd.
And Tommy doesn't believe this is all a setup, as the match gets going with Richards and Dreamer going back and forth. So when Raven gives more advice, Stevie just shoves Raven. More back and forth action before Terry gets tagged in, only for them to trade strikes and holds until Tommy comes back for some double team chops, double team fists, and a vertical suplex for a 2 count. And Dreamer drags Richards to his corner so he can tag out, only for Raven to jump down off the apron to force Stevie to continue.
I mean, yeah, Raven's doing big old chicken shit. I'm going to teach you a lesson, young man.
Funk with a vertical suplex and a hangman's neckbreaker. When Raven would grab the mic to say, "Are you going to fight like a man or a piece of shit?" to Richards.
Yep, I love he's like, I didn't raise you to be a pussy, now get in the ring and kick his ass. Kick his old ass.
The two men argue back and forth about who will be in the match when it ends up breaking down into a big brawl on the outside between all 4 men. And Raven puts Terry through a table before fighting out into the crowd, where Tommy and Stevie join the fray momentarily. Richards gets hit with a chair by Funk before everyone returns to the ring, where Terry tosses in a chair, only for Raven to grab it and just throw it right back at Terry. Now Dreamer grabs Raven, but a low blow takes Tommy out before setting the chair up for a drop toe hold of Funk into the steel. Raven tags Stevie back in to deliver a pile driver to Terry for a 2 count, a combo drop toe hold elbow drop from the disgruntled team, followed by a double team vertical suplex of Funk that only gets a 2 count as Dreamer distracts the ref. And Richard starts wearing down Terry with a headlock before Raven hits a falling fist for a near fall and dumping Funk out to the floor. Stevie with a chair shot to the knee of Funk on the floor, while Raven sets up the broken table inside the ring.
This is almost comedic with the amount of times that Tommy tries to come in to help and the ref holds him back like they're at football practice. And I'm like, this is ECW, guys. Like, it's funny right now because you've never done this before. It's weird that this is the ECW show where they decided that they had rules. And so, like, it was something that I noticed. Because Tommy tries to go in, like, 4 or 5 times. He just keeps trying to help Funk, but, like, it's like the ref. Tommy's taller and bigger than the ref. Does he really care about losing his dream match with a title on the... Yeah, it just... found it comical.
Raven ends up throwing Terry into the table multiple times before Tommy can run in to attack Raven.
Finally!
But a shot to the back of the head from Richards knocks him down. Stevie then tags in and applies a leg lock to Funk, which prompts Raven to again grab the mic and say, "How the hell are you going to beat him with that? Tag me the fuck back in, idiot."
And that cracked my ass up.
Yep. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Because part of me was thinking the same thing of, why the hell are you doing the leg lock on him? Are you just going for the spinning toe, whatever? But
he's a new man. We've been seeing the evolution of Stevie Richards.
But then as I sit here and remember, Stevie was just like laying there in the fetal position holding onto his leg too. So yeah, I wasn't really doing shit.
Yeah, but I mean, was this our 3rd time? Will this prove the rule?
Raven comes in with a DDT on Terry and locks on a spinning toe hold, only for Dreamer to again attack, knocking Raven out of the ring. Tommy tries for a whip, but it's reversed, with Raven sending Dreamer into a guardrail, while Richards works the leg of Terry inside the ring. And Raven jumps in and starts arguing again with Stevie. So Raven DDTs Richards and applies the spinning toe hold back on Funk, only for Tommy to make his way back in to cradle up Raven for a 2 count. Dreamer then goes for a DDT, but Raven pushes him back into a corner where the ref is, knocking him out.
Ref bump.
But Tommy is able to hold on to deliver the DDT, making the cover, only for no one to be there to count.
And the ref's down, guys.
Louis Spicolli then comes running out. Yeah. We haven't seen him since Holiday Hell 96, episode 230.
He was also very fast to the ring. I didn't expect him to have those kind of legs under him.
And he attacks Dreamer, but Tommy responds with a low blow, only for Raven to nail a clothesline from behind.
And Louis is rocking a Beulah t-shirt.
Terry's back to his feet and uses a chair across the back of Raven before unloading with jabs on Spicolli. But he ducks a roundhouse to pick Funk up for a Death Valley driver, when Richards is back in for a Stevie kick to Louis. And Richard capitalizes by covering Terry for the pin and the win.
Stevie Richards has pinned your world heavyweight champion.
I know.
That's right.
It's crazy. This is fun stuff. This is super fun. The moment, when Louis runs in, just Terry yelling, "Come on, you motherfucker." It's like, yeah, that's all we want from Terry Funk at this point. Not all, but like, we'll take him just yelling curse words because they sound great coming out of his weird little voice.
Yeah, it definitely ended up better than I was expecting it to, because when it started and it was the Pick Your Dream opponent match, and it was Tommy Dreamer, I was like, yeah, okay, we know he's going to pick Terry Funk. But
there was,
it was a more entertaining match than I was expecting it to, because of the Stevie Raven factor.
Steven, that would be their tag name, their tag team name if there was only 2 of them.
Are you kidding?
We are Steven.
It would still be Raven.
Yeah.
It's all about Raven.
I know. We all know that.
What about me?
What about? Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, oh, well, you have your sensei and trainee, your knight and squire dynamic, and then you have the abusive brother, and now you hit your growth spurt, and now you're the same size as him, and you realize it. Dynamic, and it's played really well here.
I don't know. If there's another Pick Your Dream opponent match, I'm going to start thinking Tommy Dreamer has some like daddy issues or something, because
he is from Philadelphia.
There's plenty of people out there.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's
Terry
from
Funk
actually
is
from
great,
Philadelphia.
but come on, Tommy, give us something we haven't seen. Pick Rick.
Tommy is
Rick who?
Rude.
We can't wrestle.
That don't matter. He doesn't have to wrestle.
Tracy Smothers barely wrestles.
He can be your dream opponent or your dream partner, and then
you just dream him into existence.
You just handle the rest.
And you just do it by yourself.
So we go to our 6th match. The Dudley Boys of Devon and Big Dick Dudley with Bubba Ray Dudley and Joel Gertner versus the Eliminators of Perry Saturn and John Kronus versus the Gangstas of New Jack and Mustafa Saed in a 3-way dance for the ECW World Tag Team Championships.
But there's a bit of a caveat, as the Gangstas don't come out for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why the champions came out second. Foreshadowing. And Big Dick tosses Saturn around like a rag doll, including a gorilla press slam to start.
Pretty great looking stuff.
But he telegraphs a back body drop, allowing Perry to hit an enziguri and a sunset flip, where Dudley stays up and choke lifts Saturn, only for it to be reversed into a hurricanrana. Perry with forearms and a whip, only to be reversed with Big Dick going for a tilt-a-whirl slam, but it's countered into a head scissors. Now Devon and Kronus both tag in as the crowd lets Dudley know what they think of him.
He sucks.
That's right. While our competitors have a feeling out process until Dudley hits a clothesline. But John kips up, hits an arm drag, a hip toss, a body slam, and goes to run the ropes, only for Bubba Ray to grab his boot and drag him out to the floor. And Perry jumps into the ring to brawl with Devon, while the rest of the Dudleys work over Kronus by throwing him into a guardrail and placing him on the timekeeper's table. Big Dick's now on the apron with Saturn, when Dudley would chokeslam him onto John and through the table.
Oh my God.
But the music would hit, the X's go up, and the trash cans go flying as the Gangstas run out to the ring to brawl with the Dudleys. Jack uses a guitar to Big Dick, Saed with a trash can to Devon. Bubba even jumps in to get a stop sign shot to the head by New Jack, knocking him back down to the floor. Perry takes over the attack on Bubba Ray on the outside, while more plunder is being used by the Gangstas and Dudleys inside the ring. As Mustafa uses a VCR on Big Dick, while Kronus clotheslines Bubba into the front row. John with a body slam of Devon inside the ring before delivering a 450 splash.
Holy shit. That's where you get your holy shit, guys.
Yes.
This giant man just did a fucking 450 splash that not only is impressive, but it looked good.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking perfect, and I love how it was all this craziness happening outside the ring everywhere, and he's just in the middle of the ring, just like, all right, what am I going to do while I'm in here? Here, we'll just do this.
I do like that, considering all of the plunder, that the only thing that matters in this match still happens in the ring. That was a bit of a appreciated change in the dynamic of the Gangsters, which are not very dynamic in this match.
Saturn runs Saed into a ring post.
Posted.
Big Dick uses a chair on New Jack in the front row, while Perry hits a springboard kick to Devon, who just completely no-sells and nails some forearms, only for Saturn to respond with the head scissors. Now Bubba Ray's back in to be slammed down by Perry, who heads up top for an elbow drop, while Mustafa, Devon, and Kronus all exchange chair and stop sign shots on the floor.
And just for some slight context here, when the Gangstas come out, their song plays during a brawl kind of the same way that Sandman's song plays for 5 minutes during his intro. But they're wrestling the whole time, so it's still played while the match is happening. But on the copy of this that I watched, they just play like the most boring, rudimentary electronic tag match.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like daytime soap version of like a dance club. Like it's just like it's like techno track 2. But we all know that like at least the network does the thing where it's like, yeah, we're not going to pay for the song because that would be very expensive and not potentially worth it. They get something that sounds close or is at least in the style of whatever it is that's like the karaoke version or close to it. And it's really weird to watch this while the Gangstas are out there and all these men are hitting each other with stop signs, VCRs, and mailboxes. The man does a 450 splash, and it's just like bum 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 bum. It gets very comedic fairly quickly.
Saturn with a Hurricanrana Bubba, followed by Jack tossing Big Dick into a guardrail, while Perry keeps it up inside the ring with a quabrata onto Bubba Ray's hurt ankle, which is why he's not in the match.
Fuck his ankle. Yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, I mean, he's got to be either shoot hurt or kayfabe hurt, but Big Dick over Bubba seems weird.
New Jack with a keyboard shot to Big Dick, while Kronus uses an umbrella on Devon before rolling him into the ring for the Eliminators to hit double roundhouse kicks to Dudley and a pair of spinning heel kicks to Mustafa. Now Saturn's taken down by a low blow from Saed, while Devon uses a trash can over the head of John, followed by a drop kick from Mustafa to Perry for a 2 count.
I do love that the trash can is like just a giant Rubbermaid trash can. It's like the kind you would use to like put leaves in when you rake your large front yard. It's not like the metal trash can. It's like a bong was the sound it probably made when it hit his head.
Devon comes off the second rope with a leg drop onto a stop sign that was atop Kronus' face.
It's pretty scary because I just feel like that stop sign could just catch your arm weird and you're just a mess.
Yep.
Before Saed leaps off the top with an elbow to the top of Saturn's head. More plunder and brawling with everyone busted open.
Of course!
When John skips around the ring with the umbrella before smashing it into Big Dick's forehead several times.
It was really weird to see Kronus just get like a little too giddy with an umbrella, considering he's such a large man that just did like a 450. And you could be a large man that skips with an umbrella, but it's weird considering what we know about Kronus at this point in time.
Agreed.
Mustafa with the vertical suplex of Kronus, followed by Big Dick using the stop sign over the head of Saed. And Perry and Devon fight over a hip toss when Saturn would just counter it into a hurricanrana to send Dudley out to the floor, followed by a drop kick to Big Dick. John now has a croquet mallet in his hands, and he hits Mustafa while New Jack delivers a clothesline to Devon.
Maybe he just got a Gallagher tape.
And Kronus continues to use the mallet on everybody while Saturn is clotheslined out of the ring by Saed. And John tries to exchange strikes with Big Dick, but he just gets knocked down and worked over by Dudley and Mustafa, while Perry has taken Bubba Ray to a wall of the center to nail a bicycle kick. So we're now fighting with people that aren't even in the match, away from the ring.
Yeah, next to just the like lacquered white brick wall of the high school gym.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're hanging out over there.
Saed with a clothesline to Devon. Bubba goes low on Saturn before tossing him into a door. And the Gangstas team up on Devon with a stop sign shot and a double back suplex, while Bubba Ray continues to work over Perry in the crowd. Jack with a diving headbutt and some kind of plunder over the head of Devon, with Saturn retaliating on Bubba. Kronus is using the umbrella again on everybody, while Mustafa uses a stick on Big Dick. New Jack looks to use a cookie sheet on John when Perry makes it back in the ring to stop him and use it over the head of Jack instead. And the Eliminators hit double low blows and kicks to Devon to send him out of the ring. But New Jack is right there with a stop sign to Saturn to slow the momentum. Big Dick and Saed then team up to work over Perry in the ropes until John can make the save, allowing the Eliminators to refocus on Jack with a pair of kicks and a top rope flying splash for a near fall. Bubba Ray then uses a crutch to the crotch of Kronus, when Saturn and New Jack both go for a clothesline for the double KO, allowing Devon to come off the top with a diving headbutt to Jack. Now Devon and New Jack fight their way to the floor, while the Eliminators have Big Dick and Saed in opposite corners, where they whip them into each other. But they don't fall down and start to brawl with each other until they're hit with double total eliminations, with each Eliminator covering one of them for the pin and the win.
I mean,
because both teams were eliminated at the same time.
Fun finish. I think that they should call that move two guys at once.
Post-match, Bubba Ray jumps in the ring to attack Kronus, but the Eliminators fight back to hit total elimination on him as well.
You can't hit the total elimination only one time. They did do a double kick move earlier in the match, but it's not a total elimination. And the double total elimination, pretty neat. I think that this match is better than most of these ECW brawls that we've seen in a while, but it's long, and at least it has a cute finish.
Bill Alfonso's in the ring with mic in hand.
There's no whistle.
I know. I didn't do it, so you're good.
He's telling everybody to tune in to watch Mr. Monday Night, Rob Van Dam. And that ECW stinks so much, he's going to get them banned in Buffalo. And Commissioner Todd Gordon makes his way out, calling Fonzie an idiot, before telling the crowd that they're coming back very soon.
ECW.
And Bill gives Todd the count of 5 to get out of the ring to avoid an ass kicking. And he starts to count, but Gordon just kicks low, clotheslines Fonzie, and starts pounding away until a bunch of wrestlers come out from the back to separate them.
Oh, was this the 7th time we've seen this happen?
Something like
if
that.
not more.
Every time we've seen it happen, the amount of times it's happened, shit. I'd put it in the higher double digits.
So we go to our 7th match. Louis Spicolli versus Tommy Dreamer with Beulah.
Why would she come out? She's wearing the neck brace because he slammed her. You gotta stay in the back. But I guess...
She's got to support her man.
Mm-hmm. Stand by your man.
And Spicolli takes the mic to tell everyone to forget about Tommy. That he stopped him from beating Raven. Something he has never done. Before dragging Dreamer to the back to beat the fucking shit out of him. Telling the ref to start the count. Because Tommy ain't coming out. But the music hits and out comes Dreamer and Beulah. Rushing the ring to begin brawling. Where Louis gains control with a roundhouse right, a baseball slide, and several whips into a guardrail. Spicolli continues the punishment with chokes and running Tommy into the ring post.
Posted.
Before rolling Dreamer into the ring and heading to the top. But Tommy hits the ropes to cause Louis to crotch himself. Now Tommy climbs up to deliver a superplex, followed by throwing Spicolli to the floor, where he can toss him into multiple guardrails. And they make their way into the crowd, where Louis is tossed into the wall and then out a door, only for Dreamer to drag him back in to climb the bleachers to smash Spicolli's head into a railing.
I think this happened twice on this show, or at least in one of these two, the last match or this one, where somebody goes, like, gets slammed into the door and the door opens and it looks like they're about to go outside.
It was this one.
Okay, yeah, and then he just, like, pulls them back in. And I was like, is that a weird cut? Or, like, they're just like, oh, no, yeah, we aren't going to go
We're not
outside.
going outside.
Yeah, we're not going outside. This isn't our arena. Or it's not even an arena. This is not our venue.
Louis is nailed between the eyes with a Coke bottle before being dragged to the top of the bleachers, where Dreamer sets up a table against a railing.
I do love that the bleachers are, like, off to the side, and there's nobody there. So, but they're the plastic, like, high school bleachers that they're, like, working up. It really brought me back.
Tommy throws Louis into the table, breaking it in half, before grabbing a garbage can to use over Spicolli's head. Louis responds with a low blow, and then tosses Dreamer all the way down the bleachers.
Sick.
It was sick. There's like 64 fucking steps. I mean, it might be only like 50, but like it's a bunch.
As they were going up the steps, I kept thinking, are they actually going to do this?
Yeah.
Are they going to do this? Or are they just going to get to the top and like slowly fight their way back down? But nope.
And Tommy really had to put in some elbow grease because these are not like the like crummy metal bleachers that would be like at a t-ball game where you could just like roll down them with some momentum. These are like the big plastic ones that they had in my high school, and there's like a foot and a half to the bottom of like from the seat to the bottom. They're pretty wide. You have to do some leaping, and
the best part was like he got about halfway down and his momentum like kind of slowed, so he kind of had to like
push
Tommy had to like kind of push himself to keep rolling all the way to the bottom.
He did a good job of doing his best to make it legit. That like, you know, he didn't give up.
He did his,
but it was funny.
Ode to Chris Farley there, rolling down a hillside, only just down bleachers instead.
So our two men return to the ring where Spicolli tosses a chair in before setting up for a Death Valley driver onto that chair. DVD. When Beulah would run in to protect her man, Tommy would grab the chair and he was about to use it when Spicolli grabs McGillicuddy, causing Dreamer to pause, only for Beulah to mule kick down low, allowing Tommy to deliver the DDT for the pin and the win. Post-match, Dreamer is celebrating in the ring, but Spicolli attacks to nail the Death Valley driver before grabbing the mic to yell something at the crowd and leaving to the back.
I couldn't figure out what
I couldn't figure out what he said either.
I love that he poses over Tommy Dreamer after this slam. But, yeah, I like Louis Spicolli a lot. And it was interesting to see that they like, all right, well, we're going to give him a gimmick. We're going to make him the big bad heel. And they put him into a grudge match immediately. Like, this is a grudge match, not a wrestling match. And I like Spicolli and would prefer to see him in a wrestling match because he's proven himself as a big, strong boy, and is still doing it here. But kind of makes sense that they would make this guy a heel, and I think he's doing a pretty good job of it.
Yep.
So we head to our 8th match. Raven with Chastity and Lupus versus Stevie Richards versus the Sandman versus Terry Funk
What is this, a house show?
in a 4-way dance for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship.
I just want to know, why didn't they have an additional match for Sandman earlier in the night, too? Everybody else
Sandman
got to
can
wrestle
barely
once.
work one night a match, Shane. What do you expect? That leg drop, every time he does that, he
He didn't even come down and drink a beer, though.
I guess we
he
could have
fucks up his ACL and then just drinks it off
I guess we
until
could have
next week.
replaced Balls Mahoney with Sandman
Yeah, see?
with Wild Bill Wiles.
Walk down.
I would have been a worse match.
Smash a beer on your head.
It would have been a worse
That's
match.
what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
let's just pick the worst match and then just add Sandman to it.
Sandman might be my least favorite wrestler of all time, guys. Take that, Eric Watts. You've gone up the rank.
Nope.
Chastity grabs the mic to ask the crowd if they want to see her tits, then proceeds to lower her shirt enough for them to see more cleavage, then yells, "Psych!"
Yeah, what is she, a 12-year-old boy? Psych is a 12-year-old boy's game.
It's the 90s.
I know.
Sandman,
Lucky she didn't yell booyah.
Yeah, she has the brain of it. Booyah would be funny. Have you guys ever seen the Booyah video? That's a little X-rated for this.
I'm like, no.
Okay.
Sandman comes in from the crowd after getting some beers from the concession stand, smashing them on his forehead and busting himself open.
To techno music, guys. There's keep playing. They got Techno 1 and Techno 2 on this show.
Technotronics.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's very funny because it's like, oh, yeah.
I think they finally realized that they couldn't release tapes with the actual licensed music.
Yeah, for sure. But at least the WWF like network, Peacock, whatever, it gets close. It's close.
This is the actual ECW
I know.
home release video.
I'm well aware, but it's like, come on, guys.
Raven goes after Sandman as soon as he is at ringside, running him into guardrails before placing him on the apron for an elbow drop to the throat. Raven tosses a chair to Stevie to hold, followed by Raven running the Sandman into it. And Terry has finally made his way out to the ring at this point, with Richards and Raven attacking him, only for Stevie to get tossed into a guardrail several times, while Raven returns to the punishment of Sandman. And Richards is just getting thrown around by everybody around ringside into more guardrails, before Raven and Funk make their way into the crowd in front of a "Raven is a sellout" sign.
Sellout. And they said that about RVD too?
Because he's headed down south pretty soon.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I know he gets there eventually. What's funny is, like, what the fuck do they want with this guy?
No, just wait.
Terry takes Raven towards a wall, while Sandman leaps off the apron with a guillotine leg drop to Stevie across the guardrail. Funk uses a chair across the back of Raven before returning to ringside, while Richards throws a chair at Sandman inside the ring, only for him to duck and place Stevie dangling on the ropes for another guillotine leg drop. And Terry is returned to the ring to brawl with Sandman before being tossed outside, allowing Raven to run in and nail a DDT on him, followed by a DDT on Funk. Raven's yelling at Richards to get them, even shoving him, so Stevie just shoves back and delivers a Stevie kick, allowing Sandman and Terry to make the cover for the pin, and Raven is eliminated.
This made me very happy.
Feel good moment of the show, really.
Yep.
Outside of, I mean, there's a spot earlier. It's not feel good. It's just, I guess, the right kind of comedy where everybody's on the floor and everybody whips Stevie into the steel on all four corners. That was a fun spot. But this one, maybe, that was a light chuckle. This one, legitimately, my heart grew a whole new size, which I should probably get checked out.
Funk then covers Sandman for a 2 count before Richards runs in, only for Terry to hit a hangman neckbreaker, with Sandman and Funk making a cover for a near fall.
The funky awakening.
Another neckbreaker by Terry for another 2 count, followed by Sandman and Funk teaming up for a spike piledriver of Stevie for a near fall. They then team up for a double powerbomb for the pin, and no! Richards kicks out again. Sandman then nails a neckbreaker to Terry and a DDT to Stevie before heading down the aisle to grab a piece of guardrail, while Funk makes the cover on Richards for a 2 count.
And this is one of my favorite spots in general. Both men on their knees, Terry Funk and Stevie Richards. Terry Funk doing, the dog headbutts. All 4 headbutts. On all 4s, giving Stevie Richards some headbutts.
Terry follows it up with a back suplex while the railing is thrown into the ring. Sandman then sets the steel in the corner before tossing Stevie into it, before cradling him up for a near fall. Sandman tries the same to Funk, only for the whip to be reversed, so Terry makes a cover for a 2 count. Funk then lifts the guardrail up onto his shoulders for an airplane spin, whacking each of his opponents. But Sandman retaliates with a clothesline and tossing Terry out of the ring. Sandman then goes for a suplex of the steel onto Stevie, but Richards is back to his feet to nail several Stevie kicks for the pin, and Sandman is eliminated.
Oh, my heart's grown 2 sizes too big. Somebody call an ambulance.
As Richards is getting up from the cover, Funk drops the railing across the neck and back of Stevie, making the cover for the pin and the win.
Funker!
And
That move was sick.
And we fade to black.
It was nasty.
So Stevie would actually suffer a legitimate neck injury
No doubt.
when the guardrail was slammed onto his back.
That's why you don't do stuff like that.
He would actually announce his retirement later in the month. He actually did think it was a career-ending injury because he lost feeling in his legs.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it looked like it was a career ending, and that's one of the issues I have with Funk is I understand he's a legacy and a legend and all that, but he is really sloppy at times with shit like that.
And the thing is like, you can see him get winded, but he also plays into it because that's the thing, is that he doesn't give up or whatever.
Yeah,
But
this just looked like he just dropped it.
Yeah, but it's like, well, you're an older guy. There's a
Yeah.
reason that you're working these kinds of matches now.
Do headbutts all you want, wrap yourself in barbed wire all you want, but
Yeah.
don't do this shit and injure a thriving star.
A little bit of good news.
Yeah.
He does get better,
Yep.
and we will see him again.
It's our right to see him again.
Just not in ECW.
And that's a true shame because it was his turn, god damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that he was supposed to win this, or was that actually the finish?
That was the finish.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, they were building Stevie towards winning it,
Yeah,
but
towards winning. Yeah, towards, like, they're building him towards the ECW title picture, obviously. But I just wasn't sure if the injury was so bad that the cover was
Maybe
impromptu.
this is not a popular take, but Stevie should have won it. Funk should not have won it. Not this one, but
Yeah. I think
the show where Funk won it, Stevie should have won it either at that point or before. They just kept dragging it.
I'm
I mean,
okay- I'm
that
okay
was
with
that was the first ECW pay per view,
Yeah.
and you're usually going to put a name guy over
Yeah.
to help establish your promotion in people's eyes.
I'm okay with them dragging it even past this because, like, the title shouldn't change.
No one outside of ECW knows who Stevie Richards is.
Yeah.
So you can't put the belt on him on
They-
that first pay per view.
They shouldn't. I mean, there's BWO shirts on WCW and WWF television, so some people know. But
Some people know.
But it's not as big. It's bigger than it ever was.
I mean, I know Terry's the bigger name, but
yeah,
It's the same reason why
that could also be
AEW
the
put the
reason
belt
that
on
you do put it
Jericho
on him.
yeah, exactly.
instead of Hangman Page on that first show.
Well, yeah, but
they
that
put
was
on-
their first. I
And
get
that
that
was their
part
first
on it, but I mean, in this case, they've already had Tito Santana, Jimmy Snuka, Don Morocco, Terry Funk has already
But
been
it's
a
still their
champion for
first
him.
pay per view, though.
I know,
It's
but-
the first time a lot of people are seeing
Yeah.
them.
But this could be the reward to their fans of and to Stevie.
There's only so many of them.
This is our guy.
Their
I mean,
room only holds
if they're
1,100
pulling
people.
5,000 people a week, okay.
Yeah.
I can see doing it.
But they can't pull 5,000.
They're pulling 1,500. So
1,500 is the max, though.
So you got to hope you're getting 20,000 people on pay-per-view watching this thing.
I would say that I'm fine with them dragging it past this. I don't think that Stevie should win the belt in Buffalo, and I'm cool with him. I want to see him win it after this because it's even more exciting, but it really is upsetting that he doesn't get that chance, and I'm happy that he got the payday. And here's something that's very interesting. Not very interesting. Absolutely obvious. WCW picks up Raven. Spoiler alert, Matt just talked about it. He goes to the South. We saw the sign that said sellout. Stevie Richards is the better talent that ends up in a better place, that has a stronger idea of what they're doing, as opposed to...
I'm trying to remember if he was there. I mean, I know he was there, but I'm just
He joins
talking...
the Nest for...
does he?
Yeah. Basically, he does retire, and that's how he gets out of any kind of contract that he might have had with Paul. And basically, when Raven goes to WCW, he basically brings along Stevie, so Stevie can still get paid, get some health insurance.
Okay,
so
see, I thought that
Stevie
eventually makes his way to WWF, though,
He doesn't wrestle a match.
Okay.
With WCW.
Yeah. Okay.
He's just in the Nest.
Well, with what you said...
Or the flock.
Yeah,
I guess what they call it.
And see, that's what I was trying to remember when he ended up in WWF or E, if Raven had already moved up there.
He doesn't make it to WWE until ECW closes.
Okay, see, for some reason I thought that he was with Meanie in the Oddities.
He is.
He is, okay. I just don't...
Right to censor Oddities.
Yeah.
That's when he becomes...
But yeah, for some reason...
He actually wrestles again then.
Yeah.
So it's literally... I literally think our next match that we see him in will be in like 5 years.
That's a true shame. But for some reason I was assuming... I didn't realize that he goes to WCW with Raven. And the point I was trying to make was that WCW made plenty of terrible decisions while the WWF... had a better eye for talent and made better decisions. But I'm obviously wrong here, so,
well,
pin a rose on my nose.
There's plenty of terrible decisions for them to continue to make with...
Yeah, we don't have to... Yeah,
future former ECW people.
There's no...
I had stumbled upon one on Twitter the other day of...
No one's going to argue any
the
of
debut of your least favorite person.
So I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of the Buffalo Invasion?
Good house show, like the new venue, but we'll only be here one time.
We might come back to the venue. They may just not call it the Buffalo Invasion.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I like the venue. I like the look of the show. I don't think the show was boring. I think the venue added some more spice to some things, and it kind of forced some of the matches to probably go a different direction or be worked a different way because of the arena, ring, and camera setup, and I appreciate all of those things. But this is a really good house show.
Yep.
But it's a really good house show to the point where it proves that ECW at home can be formulaic and one-note-ish, and this show had the same combo of people that you might see in the ECW arena, but the matches were worked differently in front of a different crowd, and they were more enjoyable from a wrestling standpoint, I think.
I mean, along the same lines of what you're saying there. It was a good show throughout. Obviously, I have a couple of tweaks that I would make if I could have. Oh, yeah. Perhaps if Tommy Dreamer had another idol, Stevie Richards would have been able to continue to wrestle longer because maybe somebody wouldn't have been tired and could have properly handled the security rail. But
they all shouldn't have done the security rail spot. It should have been a chair. You could have backdropped a chair over.
It should have just stopped at the little funk helicopter and then be done from there.
He could have just swung a chair in circles, hit both of them, and then came back over his head and like a chair to the back of his head may have given him a concussion, but it would not have broke his neck. But yeah.
Yeah,
Let bygones be bygones.
I truly feel that this should have... I mean, I get all the reasoning for stuff, but in my heart, this should have been the one where Stevie finally won because he's carried this company for the last year.
I believe you, but he can't win in Buffalo, Shane.
If he can't win in Buffalo, he can't win anywhere. And
he won't. Yeah.
So I do feel like we went into the crowd a bit too much, especially in those last 4 matches.
Yep.
They saved it, yeah.
But I still had fun with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they were a little different.
each one slightly different,
I didn't fast forward through the tag match.
but
I know. Crazy.
the Stevie push was awesome. Like, I loved it. Ultimately, the injury news completely bums me out.
Absolutely. I had no idea before.
And I'll just say it now. Like, the Dream Partner match, we could have just cut that match completely.
Yep.
Because, yes, I know it does help build the Stevie push. That was what it was there for. But at the same time, like, we could have taken 15 minutes off the show and been fine.
If this
because everybody in that match worked a second match.
If this was a like a regular
regular show,
a regular week in Philadelphia, it would have been split between at least 2 shows, or the beginning of the month and the end of the month. But they're
with it
out
being
here,
a house show in Buffalo, they gave them
a little bit more.
A little bit more. I get it.
We suffered because of it. I mean, we and Steve Richards suffered because of it. But I'm glad that Raven was a good enough friend to get him a paycheck.
Think Terry could have dropped that in a million different ways.
Yeah,
I'm not going to. Could have never hurt him.
I'm not going to blame Terry.
It's not like Terry did it on purpose by any means. So
no, it's just a shame. It's the same with Sting. Nobody blames Sting for ruining Rick Rude's career, but we couldn't be more upset at the fact that somebody we love as much as Sting ruined the career of a guy we love.
Someone's career to be a legend.
That's possible.
We're looking at you, Randy Orton.
He didn't ruin.
He's the legend killer.
He kills him.
He kills him. It's even worse than being ruined.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? There. All right. Fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. What are some of the best moments of this show?
Chetti.
Yeah.
Chetti rules.
Chris Chetti was really good.
Chetti got me excited the way that Spicolli and that other guy that I can't remember the name of, who I probably shit my pants over and talked way too much about, recently when they brought Louis Spicolli in, there was another large man who threw people around and he looked awesome.
I'm trying to remember.
But Chetti looks like he should be.
Yeah, Chetti came in there with the power of old Spicolli and Furnace and LaFon.
But he's smaller and more agile, and he looks like he should be working with fucking Ray and Malenko in WCW, or he should be on fucking the J Cup. Like, at this point, he legitimately... And the thing is it's not only...
Candido?
No, I'm not talking Candido. He's another large man. He is so athletic. His moves were so crisp, but he sold. Even in the smallest amount of time that he had, he would take the time to sell the move. And that was... outside of the other 2 things that I found impressive, that was the most impressive, was that he just... It felt intuitive. He knew exactly what to do after every move, and I really enjoyed it.
All right, let's see. Trained by Taz and Mikey Whipwreck.
Checks out.
So that explains.
I mean, he's
the knowledge and the selling.
He's an ECW dojo guy.
It's funny to think the ECW had a dojo because there's guys out there like the Sandman. I know.
So does he?
Yeah, kidding. I know what you mean.
Stick around? Or?
Yeah, Chetti sticks around for a long time. I mean, he never really becomes anything big.
He never becomes Mikey Whipwreck.
But he sticks around for quite a while.
So this says he's Taz's cousin?
That sounds right. Yeah.
If the internet says it, it must be true, guys.
I mean, it's Wikipedia, so anybody could have wrote that. But
and birds aren't real.
That's the only family listed is Taz.
Yeah, I mean,
and then
that's cool.
Then when you go to Taz's page, it shows Hook and Chris Chetti.
I mean, we haven't said it, but we all know the Rude snatch powerbomb is one of the best things ever.
mean,
because it's just hilarious to even think about.
Yeah, let the boys eat. It was so funny. Like I said, it was shocking, and then it was like eyebrow raising, and then it was like comedic gold. So it hit like a series of emotions. For some, a huge fan of lowbrow humor, and they nailed it. They really nailed it. And it's all visual.
And another crazy thing, so I literally just said we could have just cut the Dream Partner match, but there's so many fun moments, like especially Raven getting on the mic to yell at Stevie.
Well, I mean, Raven's doing the shitty big brother, and Stevie is like, no, I'm ready to defend myself now. It's like and all of a sudden the lackey can't take it anymore, and I think that was all done pretty well. I really like Spicolli. I like him more as we'll see where it goes, but I like him more as the Rick Steiner, or even more of like early Scott Steiner, where it's like, oh, just a large guy in a singlet that throws people around. But I think I was impressed with his promo, and that, he was really going for the heel thing. I was like, oh, well, we know the guy can work. You start him as a heel and go from there. Work for Taz.
The Kronus 450.
I mean, come on.
Perfection.
I'm so glad you said that. I would have felt embarrassed if we forgot it.
Like, what else was there?
Show's really fun. I really think it's a fun show.
I already said I'm really starting to enjoy old Tommy Rich as the mouthpiece for the full-blooded Italians.
Well, it's because he's like the confident doofus. You know what I mean? Where it's like, we all know this guy's full of shit, but he doesn't know he's full of shit.
And he hasn't attempted the JT, I want to talk like I'm an Italian.
Yeah, no.
He and that's just comes out there and like...
That adds to the comedy of it, too. It's like, yeah, you can't even fake it well.
Yeah.
Which makes it funny.
He's a full-blooded Italian from Georgia.
Yeah.
Or wherever the hell he's from.
Yeah, he's kind of doing...
also,
yeah,
the first Taz match with no whistle.
Loved it. Yeah. There's a thing I noticed where Bill Alfonso comes out and cuts a promo, and typically I think Bill Alfonso is good at cutting a snotty, confident, weaselly promo, but he stumbles really hard in the promo on this show, and I don't know if the stumble is maybe I'm just giving it more than it's due, but I was like, is he doing a good job or a bad job in that he's doing a typical Bill Alfonso promo, which I think is a good thing, but he stumbles through it, and it's like, is he just making a mistake, or is this legitimately thought out to the point where he's just showing that this is a new thing and he's uncomfortable now that he's not with Taz? And I think that I'm just reading into it too far when people
it could be either. It could be.
I might be getting
I'm so used
film
to saying
Twitter
and
about
talking
it.
about Taz that I keep wanting to say his name because that's what I do.
He didn't tease it at all, but I was like, maybe he's just legitimately uncomfortable, and that added a little bit of something for me. But maybe I'm just overthinking ECW. Somebody mail me a bullet.
Cody Michaels?
Nah, I can't remember this asshole's name.
Okay,
Oh, Cody
I
Michaels.
literally
Like,
looked. I'm all the way back on October of last year.
Yeah, maybe he only had a match. It was maybe post LaFon and
I mean, LaFon and Furnace were on that show, so
it wasn't Cody Michaels. Maybe I'm just crazy.
I think you're just crazy.
Who was the guy that Taz fought that was the ECW guy?
I might
not
be
the
crazy.
ECW, the UC.
Well, that was Big Teton or whatever the fuck his name was. The guy that was Razor Ramon.
Okay.
Big Titan.
Yeah, that's forever ago.
Yeah. I don't know. We don't have to worry about it. It's not important.
Right.
Louis Spicoli's here.
How about most disappointing? I mean, I said it earlier. They go out into the crowd just probably a little bit too much, but
yeah,
I think
it's not as bad as what it usually is.
That's why I don't think that I will not consider that a negative, because what normally happens. I think that the triple tag match was so much better than it would have been if it was in the 2900 arena. I mean, obviously, based on the information you enlightened us with, the Biggest disappointment
Stevie
is Stevie Richards.
Yep.
Because we love Stevie Richards.
I'm going to jump back to best moments for a second because we totally forgot the bleacher spot.
Bleacher spot's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't do that there. That's the thing is they've done everything they can do.
I mean, they've done bleacher spots at 2900, but it just doesn't look the same.
Well, this one's compelling, and they set it up, and the camera angle was good. But they've done everything as far as camera work and, for the most part, spots that they can do in that spot at this point. Until Masato Tanaka power bombs Mike Awesome over the top rope into a table. I'll probably cry when I see it again.
Disappointing Kronus using an umbrella.
And the croquet mallet.
Like, there's such weird...
He did comedy for a second.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is, like, while you were talking about that, I didn't have this thought while watching it, but while you were talking about it, I was thinking that if Hunter Hearst Helmsley, or if a Hunter Hearst Helmsley-esque character was in ECW, him beating people with a croquet mallet would be funny, and it would be lame enough that it would get great heat, and that would be fun and interesting. But Kronus doing it is just kind of like
weird.
It's like a head scratch. It's like, what?
Yeah.
The guy just did a 450 at the top. They do the total elimination, the best fucking finisher in the company that's not like the Taz Mission, and the Taz Mission is cool, but the Taz Mission is extra cool because he suplexes everybody 7 times before he does it.
Yeah. How about best performer?
Oh, wow.
It's Stevie, guys.
Stevie. Honestly, I think this is a better Raven performance than we've seen in a very long time, considering he's not somebody that I have strong...
Since he came back from his injury,
once he got healthy, he's put his working boots on.
Yeah, he has.
I feel like.
But he has to still ride the line of being the guy that like wouldn't work. So he is doing it when he's moving back into it correctly instead of just coming back and having like a fucking putting on a clinic. It's like he can't come in here and put on a clinic.
No,
because that's not the character.
I mean, I don't think he's good enough to be putting on clinics.
No, but
he's better than what we saw there for quite some time because of his injury.
But if Raven wanted to put on a singlet, Shane Douglas could work him through a like classic fucking NWA like mid-card match, and it would be good. But that's not the character, so it makes complete sense. But I mean, we love Stevie, so give it to Stevie. I like Stevie more than Tommy Dreamer. I like Stevie more than Sandman. I like Stevie almost as much as Shane Douglas. Or I like them both the same amount for different reasons. That's how much I like both of them. But Shane Douglas has gotten enough awards from us, and Stevie has been coming into his own, but this is the show where he gains confidence that he's been building towards, and unfortunately it's pulled out from underneath him. So give it to the boy. The we have Shawn Michaels at home of professional wrestling. The prince of the super kick.
Yep.
How about most surprising?
I mean, that's where the Rick Rude ass to mouth
box munching.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
I mean, another surprising thing was we didn't watch the show where Louis went heel and slammed Beulah, so I feel like I hadn't seen Louis in a little bit, and he comes out like full heel,
and see,
mic in hand, talking to the crowd, wearing a Beulah t-shirt, and he fucked her neck up, and I was like, oh wow, this is what they're doing with Louis.
I don't technically think he was really
full heel
either.
Yeah.
Last time we saw him.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've done stuff with him since then to where he got here, but you know.
And then the Stevie thing, I wasn't expecting that ending. I mean, not the him losing part, but then finding out that was his last, shining moment in ECW.
You know what my most surprising moment was?
Let's hear it.
When you guys gave me your overall thoughts and you guys didn't hate this show.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
Because literally, whenever the last 4 matches just kept going out into the crowd and brawling, I was just like,
I think it was the venue and the crowd and the way that like the shots had to be different, that it like really made a difference. Like in that tag match, they didn't follow everybody out into the crowd, and everything that, because the camera was focused on the ring, the only thing that seemed to matter was what happened in the ring. So it just kind of felt like that was for everybody else, but the important stuff happened there. So I wasn't mad or annoyed by it. And then the Tommy Dreamer thing, it's like, okay, well, at least they had a reason, because they went and did that big crazy down the stair spot.
I mean, I do think that if they hadn't done the bleacher spot, that match would have gotten old real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
But I think what they did was certain things happened in each of those matches. Because if I look at the last 4 matches, you've got the Raven Dreamer Dream Partner match, and that's where
Raven's doing the mic stuff with Stevie,
yeah,
which we enjoy. You have the tag team match, which I think is your most traditional plunder and crowd work match.
But it was
that they did in all this show.
They had that beautiful 450.
Absolutely.
It had
I
the
think that's
combination.
why, yeah.
Instead of Devon and Bubba Ray, it had Devon and Big Dick, so it threw in a little difference there. And then, like I said, I don't know. There was something different about the Gangstas this time. Maybe there was less.
Maybe it was the music
shit that they brought with them. Maybe it was.
I mean, the music is maybe one of the most disappointing things, because it was laughable, but it's funny. You know, when like when you're a kid and your mom makes meatloaf and you're like, fuck, mom's meatloaf sucks, but I'm gonna eat it. And then you go to like,
my mom's meatloaf was great.
My mom's a bad cook, but I'm just saying, or chicken soup or whatever, and you're like, oh, I've had this a million times, whatever. I'm not excited about it. You go to a friend's house and you have the same dish, but it's better or it's different, and you enjoy it more for that reason. That is what happened here. Mm-hmm. This is ECW with a new spice.
Out of the nest.
Yeah. They decided to buy smoked paprika instead of regular paprika. They learned how to salt and pepper things correctly. Somebody gave them a bottle of garam masala, and instead of garlic herb chicken, they made a fucking curry. And it was just like, okay, it's just different enough that I'm not angry at the normal stuff, because it looks different, feels different, and it goes down a little easier.
That's what she said.
So what Rick Rude said.
And now for a look back even further into the history of wrestling.
The dusty finish.
Yokozuna had been WWF champion for the past 9 months, coming into WrestleMania 10 on March 20th, 1994. He was scheduled to face the winner of the Royal Rumble, but it would end in a controversy, forcing Yoko to possibly face 2 different opponents. Lex Luger would win a coin toss and face Zuna first, with Mr. Perfect as a special guest referee. It would be a back-and-forth battle when Lex would attempt a slam, only for his back to give away, causing Zuna to land on top for a near fall. Yokozuna would expose a turnbuckle, but a reversed whip by Luger would send Yoko into the exposed steel, before successfully slamming Zuna and nailing a running forearm. Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette would both jump to the apron to distract Perfect, which would frustrate Lex, so he would shove the ref, causing a disqualification and allowing Yokozuna to move on to the main event versus Bret the Hitman Hart. Yoko would use his size advantage early on in this match, until Bret would avoid a splash and take down Zuna with forearms, making a cover, only for Cornette to pull this match's special referee, Roddy Piper, out to stop the count.
I mean, come on, Cornette.
This would allow Yokozuna to regain control with a leg drop and a belly-to-belly suplex, dragging the Hitman to a corner for the bonsai drop, only for Yoko to lose his balance on the ropes, allowing Hart to make the cover for the pin to become WWF champion for the second time. Bret would then begin a feud with his brother, Owen Hart, who would bring in a former WWF champion to help in his cause. Next week, Slamboree 1997.
You never know. You never know with a Starcade. You have a good idea with a Havoc. Uncensored is cooked. Slamboree, they're not doing Night of Legends stuff anymore. At least they haven't been.
Let's hope not.
But hey, I'd rather watch that than NWO Uncensored.
Sold out.
Sold out, yeah.
Same thing.
Uncensored.
Not same thing. But
We actually liked Uncensored.
we
a little
did.
bit.
It got better.
Yeah.
It did. And at least Uncensored is, even when it's bad, it's at least bizarre.
Music from this week's show is This Is Extreme by Harry Slash and the Slash Tones. And Terry Funk won our main event
Desperado.
Why?
by the Eagles.
They didn't play that on my show.
No. It was bizarre.
But it's what they
technically.
really played in the
Yeah.
in the arena. If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there, rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcast at.
I still think we should play Stevie's song.
Oh no. What is the Stevie song? We don't ever.
I would
hear.
have to do some research because I have no clue.
We'll find. We'll look it up after we hit stop on the recorder.
And if you have any questions, comments, concerns,
Where the hell are we going? We're
Recipes,
going to Charlotte.
arguments.
We're going to Charlotte, North Carolina next. So if you've got any
real flair country.
blended ideas of what I should do, whether they be food, cocktails, snacks, let me know. Slide into our DMs. Give us a shout out on the old Xbox.
360.
I say Xbox, yeah.
Yeah.
There's already something called that, damn it.
Yeah. It's okay.
But yeah, on the formerly known as Twitter. And just let us know.
The X machine.
Also, what do you think of this show? What's your favorite? Do you think Stevie should have won? I do.
Have you watched this show? Has anybody watched this show since we've watched this show in the last 5 years?
But you can do any of those things by contacting our email at wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com or find us on X at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTO.
X.
We'll talk to you next week.
Haters.
Fuck.